Folks, it's me, Denny Carter from Rotoworld and NBC Sports coming at you for the Week 6 Start-Sit Q&A on the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. Did it again, folks. Did it again. I got that all out without stumbling. And for that, I am proud of myself. I have that going for me, which is nice. I wanted to tell you something about something real quick, and that is to check out the free, incredibly free, nothing has ever been more free, the free Rotoworld fantasy basketball draft kit. And it's live at Rotoworld. If you would like to check that out, you get hundreds of detailed player profiles, projections, rankings, and more in the kit. It's going to come in handy for me because football stuff precludes me from getting very deep on the basketball analytics, and I'm going to need some guidance. And for that guidance, I'm going to look no further than the free Rotoworld draft kit for NBA fantasy. I haven't played in a long time. I used to play passionately in free leagues when I was in my early 20s with my cousins and my brothers-in-law, and we were just so into it. We made 20 transactions a day. It was sick. I had a lot of time on my hands in that time of my life. I have less time on my hands now, which is why I need the Rotoworld NBA fantasy draft kit. Excuse me. So check that out. Look, before we start, I want to say that I'm getting a lot of pushback on saying that Dontavian Wicks might actually be good. And I cited, of course, ESPN's open score, which has Wicks as a top 10 guy as far as getting open, creating separation, limited opportunities as a pro, has commanded targets. That's the one thing that he's done. Has he had great hands? No. Has he been super efficient? He has not, as you might know. And some folks were asking, how do I explain this to my children? My kids, they want something more filling, they say, than open score analytics, right? And I say no. I say that the kids need to learn how to get along with, eating some open score, eating some air yards, okay? Eating some rush yards over expected per attempt. Okay, this is how we grew up in the 80s and 90s, okay? We ate our analytics and we liked it. And we thanked our parents. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad, for the yards per route run. It was delicious. Even if we didn't really like it, even if we actually wanted some, I don't know, real yards, even if we actually, wanted some actual rushing production, not expected rushing production, we still said thank you. And the kids today, they don't do that. They're entitled. They feel they are entitled to a constant stream of actual fantasy production, and they don't want the analytics. And that's probably the fault of my generation. I think we have let down the kids in that regard. So as I wait for the chat to fill up and get to your questions, throw them in there. Wanted to mention just quickly, I have my funnel defense report. Couldn't remember the name of my own article. My funnel defense report on rotoworld.com right now, if you'd like to check that out. I talk about Cowboys, Lions. I talk about Packers, Cardinals. I talk about Ravens, Commanders, and a couple other games. If you would like to check that out, basically the premise of the article is how are teams likely to operate, how our offense is likely to operate based on matchup. And I don't mean for the article to be the end all be all of start sit decision making, oh, this guy's playing a pass funnel, therefore I must play him over a clearly superior option. I hope that is not what's happening with people consuming that analysis. But it can help. It helps me. It helps me in my, and I have some rough lineup decisions this week on my own. I almost want to throw those out to you all and see what you say. But I am the expert, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to quietly make those decisions by myself, and then blame the mainstream media for if they go wrong. Just one more thing before we start. I know y'all are just dying. Please, Denny, shut up and just answer my questions. I did want to mention, and my NBC Sports colleague Chris Wilson brought this to my attention, and I appreciate it. Lawrence Jackson, my other NBC Sports colleague, and a great follow on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter. He mentioned in his column this week, in his optimal flex plays piece, which you should check out on the site, he said the following. Lawrence said the following: "This week, I'm getting a little cute and highlighting players who have solid matchups in potentially high-scoring games." And I just want to say it's okay. I just want to remind everyone it's okay to get a little cute. And so Lawrence didn't say I'm going to get very cute. I'm going to get too cute, and I'm going to tell you to play Dontavian Wicks over, I don't even know, AJ Brown or something like. So I just want to make it clear. This is a company wide thing, by the way. Not getting too cute, and I'm glad to see Lawrence is sticking by that policy. If you see anybody getting too cute, remember to direct them to me. All right, let's get into your questions. And we will start with Nate Ford. Pick one between Slayton, Wicks, and Pierce in PPR. This is assuming Neighbors, Watson, and Downs are out. Is Downs really out? I didn't mean that to be like a pun or anything. Gosh, I got to check the news. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Shoot. Well, that changes things for me. Oof. I do think that Slayton is the play here. He was top 10 in air yards among all receivers last week. Again, I know you can't eat him, but he actually does. Slayton does tend to convert air yards, unlike other people. Amari Cooper, Cortland Sutton. Excuse me. Allergies. The allergies happen in the fall. This is all I hear. People, it's fall, I have allergies. I thought that was the spring. Are we not on the same page there? Anyway, yeah. So Darius Slayton, he gets all the downfield looks, and Wan'Dale Robinson gets all the underneath looks with Neighbors out. So I do think it's Slayton there. Let's see. We have Void Wraith Prime. All right. I believe the Commanders and Ravens is going to be a shootout. I'm starting likely over Pitts. Yeah. So it seems like you listened to the stream last week, which I appreciate. And you saw that Pitts really did get away with it. And I think, and I wrote about this in the regression files. If folks want to check that out, I have it on my X feed and of course on the Rotoworld site. The play volume for the Falcons was out of control in week 5 against the Bucs. Overall play volume was just spiked through the roof, 80 plus plays, 50 plus drops, actually 60 plus dropbacks for Kirk Cousins. Okay. So, that's an amazing thing. Okay. And we do like that. We appreciate that. And man, if we could have anything even in the neighborhood of that sort of pass volume every week, then everybody in this offense would be a must start, including like Ray McLeod. I'm not playing with you. I think we can expect, and I'm going on here because I think this will help folks with their start sits beyond Kyle Pitts, but I think folks need to adjust for the matchup here. I think the Falcons will have a lot fewer plays, much fewer, many less, much less. No one really knows. There's no way to find out the proper English usage of that term. A lot less play volume against Carolina. Carolina profiles as an everything funnel, but primarily a run funnel. And I think that the Falcons are likely to get back to, their neutral ways. Let's say balanced. They're balanced attack, and I think that includes a lot of Bijan Robinson. Assuming he can play, he has a hamstring injury. Watch that. Of course, Tyler Algier. Honestly, guys, listen. Algier becomes like a must start if Robinson is out this week. I would play him over everybody but like the elite options. Okay. I'm trying to think of a cutoff point, but he would be a top 10 play against the Panthers if Robinson is out. Anyway, just to note. But yeah, so Kyle Pitts had 15 fantasy points in the most glorious fantasy environment that you could ever conceive. He got 15 fantasy points. I do think starting Likely over Pitts is the right call. All right. Kicker question from Dan. Love kicker questions. Boswell against the Raiders. Lutz against the Chargers. Groupie. No, can't play Groupie with the backup quarterback in. Yeah, so Matthew Wright suffered a shoulder injury at the very end of Thursday night's game against the Seahawks. Looked bad. I wouldn't be surprised if he's done. The Niners are going to have to just look for another kicker because you have Jake Moody is out. Now Wright is out. So don't worry about Wright. Boswell would be the play for me. Howdy to Tyler as well. Billy just wants to quadruple check. Rashee Rice is completely droppable. Need the IR spot from Malik Neighbors. So you can pick up Tolbert. Look, I don't have like inside information, it's very confusing. I've been in this business for a long time and I've never seen an injury quite like this Rashee Rice thing, where you have Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter with differing accounts of how severe and what the injury actually is and how long he'll be out and what the Chiefs want to do with him. And so I still hesitate to say, oh, absolutely, you just drop him because, maybe he comes back in December and you can use him for a game or two. And then I would feel real bad about telling you to drop him. Unless I missed some news like today. I've been busy. I was on the fantasy football happy hour, so I was a little bit tied up, unable to monitor news. Too cute to wait to see if James Cook plays Monday. Okay. Here's what you do. So James Cook has a toe injury. If James Cook is able to get in a limited practice on Friday, then you can pretty safely assume he'll play Monday. And then if not, if he's a DNP, did not practice, does not practice, will not practice, refuses to practice. If that's his status for Friday, then I think you can assume he won't play. You can plug in Tolbert for Sunday against the Lions. One way to guard against this, if Ray Davis, no, because then you have the other guy in the Buffalo backfield. Who's that other guy? Shoot, I'm gonna look it up because I don't remember. You have Ty Johnson. Yeah. So I actually would go with Ty Johnson as the backup, as the direct backup over Ray Davis. So pick up Ty Johnson just in case, if you can. All right. We have help. Wicks, McConkey, or Leggett. I still don't. Wicks. I would go with Wicks. All right. Let's see. Full PPR. The only legitimate scoring format there. Damian Pierce, if he plays and Mixon doesn't. Will Tyrone Tracy get any play if Singletary is back? Yeah. It's hard to say. That Giants backfield could be kind of a fantasy disaster going forward because Tyrone Tracy, the kids are saying he looked like Himothy. They're saying Tyrone Tracy is Himothy. And I looked it up. I had to Google about 3 or 4 different things, but I figured out that's good. That means that Tyron Tracy is good. And he did look the part. I will be honest. And as a Devin Singletary guy who took him a lot in best ball and quite a bit in redraft leagues, I was very sad to see how good Tracy looked on Sunday against the Seahawks. And I mean, take it with a grain of salt. Seahawks rush defense is probably roughly bottom 3. Could be the worst. Could be actually the worst rush defense in the league right now, even worse than Dallas. So, consider that when you're evaluating the situation. But Devin Singletary can't do that. And that makes me a little worried about Devin Singletary's role as like an unquestioned workhorse. I would imagine that I'm sorry, I'm trying to retweet my own live stream here to get folks in here, and I am distracted. I would imagine that the Giants just have to concede that Tracy has to be part of this backfield. I guess you start Pierce if Mixon is out. Daria Gumbawale is going to mix in there. I don't know, man. And also there's no guarantee. If you're like, okay, I'm going to play Tracy. I mean, he could definitely see like 6 touches this week. Like that's also in the range of outcomes. And I know that that's a big excuse and not very brave of me, but I have to be honest with you. I'll never not be honest with you. You know that. Liam, pick 2, running back in a flex. So Brian Robinson is looking very iffy. So is Zach Moss, who has the ankle. Looked like a pretty serious ankle, and he came back, and then he came back out of the game. I think Moss will be out at least this week. Chase Brown becomes a must start because he then gets both the early down stuff, and they probably don't have a choice but to work him in on pass downs. Now, they have preferred Moss as a passing down guy so far, but Brown would get the whole workload, I think, or something close to it. So you have to play Brown. So you probably just have to play Brown and Amari Cooper and just hope that Amari Cooper's air yards eventually turn into real yards that you can eat and feed your family. Billy, thoughts and prayers. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a little scary that Malik Neighbors is now 2 weeks and 1 day removed from his brain injury, and he's still out. So hopefully he does get back. He says, I know Guardian caps are controversial, but if it's better than nothing, yeah, right. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where I stand on Guardian caps. Those are the big like mushroom toad looking extra padding on the helmet. They just look so uncool that I kind of understand players not wanting to use them. I know that sounds dumb, but come on. I mean, aesthetics mean something. And I've been told by people on the internet that they don't help, that the brain still rattles around the skull, and that's what causes the bruises and the trauma and creates the concussions. So I'm not sure. All right, let's move on to your questions. Lindorphins is in the chat. Hello, Lindorphins. Happy Friday to you. If you can believe it, it is Friday once again, as David Lynch would say. In half PPR, how do you rank these guys rest of season? Addison, Wicks, and Juju. I actually would rank Addison. It would go Addison, Juju, and then Wicks, I think. Yeah, so me and Pat Doherty talked on the Rotoworld football show on Tuesday all about Juju Smith-Schuster and his role in this post-Rashee Rice Kansas City offense, and it's good, okay? Suffice it to say, it's a good role to have. It's a fantasy-friendly role to have. He had a great game, and he dropped an easy touchdown. So it could have been even better. And Addison is running cold right now, so that's how I would rank them. Oh no, okay. I'm sorry. I started Fields last week, even though you told me to start Love. I did. But you should have listened to me. Did Love outscore Fields? I feel like Fields outscored Love. Neither did great, but I should have just kept reading your sentence. Oh, now the repo man is measuring my Weber kettle because I didn't listen. Yeah, look, the bank examiner comes for everyone, and when you don't listen to me, the bank examiner makes it a point to get to your house in a hurry. All right, Lanny, drop Kincaid for Ertz. I don't think so. I don't really know what to say about Kincaid. I mean, the role is there. You would think that Khalil Shakir being out would matter, but apparently it doesn't. Look, Josh Allen had one of the worst, if not the single worst passing performance ever in week 5. I'm guessing that doesn't happen again. Kincaid would benefit if Josh Allen cannot be the worst quarterback, passing quarterback in the league. So don't do that. Yeah, don't drop Kincaid. Yeah, Chris Sales in the chat. Eckler, Moss, or Mooney in standard. To answer your second question, I would go with Kincaid over Goddard because Goddard's only only a thing when AJ Brown and or Devontae Smith are sidelined. Beyond that, it's slim pickings for Goddard. For this week, if Brian Robinson is out, I do think Eckler becomes interesting. Eckler is basically the only Washington running back who's running routes out of the backfield. And Zach Moss is probably not going to play. So I think that's in PPR. I would probably tell you Mooney. But Eckler is the much safer play. And, he could even see some goal line work if Robinson is out. That would be good for him. Tyler, there may be 3 to 5 viable running backs too come Sunday with all these injuries. Yeah, so I guess we should go through those. Thank you, Tyler. Great hair, by the way. It's actually too much. I feel like you're bragging every time that you comb your hair, Tyler. I feel like it's a little obscene how much hair you have. It's just so thick and so luscious. It's too much. It's too much. I'm going to need you to wear a hat is what I'm saying, because you're embarrassing the rest of the guys online with that head of hair. So that's my advice to you. Stop being so braggadocious about your dang hair. All right. Yeah. Ramondre Stevenson, not practicing. So, and then the Patriots made some roster moves where they called up some running back. So that means Antonio Gibson probably serves as the RB1. He's probably rostered in your look. I'm not gonna say go pick up Antonio Gibson, because then you'll say, not in my league. In my league, Antonio Gibson went in the 4th round. How dare you? And then I'll be sad. So anyway, just know that Algier would be the direct backup to Bijan. Mixon, who knows, honestly, and the Singletary thing, also who knows. Also, please, if folks see breaking news about any injuries for this week, throw it in the chat, because that helps me a lot. Thank you. Ryan says, longtime fan since last week. I appreciate it. I'm personally, I'm a Washington Commanders fan since 1969, aka 2 weeks ago. Billy says Jalen Tolbert or Devin Singletary. I talked about Singletary earlier. I would lean Tolbert. Bautista says, thanks for your work. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for thanking me. Also, you're welcome. 10-team full PPR Superflex. Have 2 kicker spot. Wow, that was an AI hallucination. I am, of course, an AI projection. I have 2 flex spots. Pick 2 of Wandell, Dobbins, Dowdle, and Ingram. It has to be Wandell with Neighbors out, so yeah, okay. I just want to say this: if you can avoid playing Chargers this week, I think you need to do that. You need to just avoid that. Excuse me. because the Denver defense is the real dang deal. Excuse my language, and sorry to the kids who are listening, but yeah, they're for real. And I would just really try to not play McConkey, not play Quentin Johnston, try to avoid Dobbins. I would go with Dowdle over Dobbins along with Wandale. Dak against Detroit or Cousins? That's a good question. I would go with Dak. The Detroit secondary can be had, and there's just zero chance that the Cowboys are going to be able to establish it against Detroit. They're just not going to. It's very close, but I think Dak. Excuse me. All right, non-cute. Okay, well that's good, because if it were cute, you'd be out of the chat. I would tell the mods to get this guy. Non-cute trade question: giving David Montgomery and Devontae Smith. Okay, I'm just digesting that, and then getting Tyreek Hill and McBride. I only have Mason and a bunch of RB stashes. Oh, that makes it so much harder. I was hoping you were okay at running back. Oh, so okay. I'm gonna say yes, just because of Tyreek. I think it's a good bet that Tua will be back sooner rather than later. And so assuming he's back to full health, hopefully he is, then Tyreek is Tyreek again, and you're getting him on the cheap. Like, if Tyreek had been producing like he usually does this season, you would never, ever be able to make this trade. And that, I'm not breaking news here. I mean, that's why he's available to you. But projecting forward, it's a long season. Okay. No one's ever said that. I'm making that observation for the first time. It's not a short season. It's not even a medium length season. It's a long season. And Tyreek, I think, is a good buy low kind of guy here. So I would do that. Yeah. PPR, Michael Wilson or Wicks. Yeah. So, and then Tank, good enough for flex. Yeah. So Nico Collins being out means Tank Dell. I talked about this on the Rotoworld football show with Kyle Dvorak and Pat Daugherty yesterday. I encourage folks to check that out as it was our week 6 matchup pod. We talked a lot about this, about the Texans offense without Nico Collins. He's on IR for the next 4 weeks, at least. So Nico Collins is averaging 12 air yards per target, and no one really matches that profile in this Houston offense except for Tank Dell, who's seeing almost 11 air yards per target. So I think Tank Dell is going to take that downfield role. Does that make him a high variance play? Probably. Okay, so just know that going in. You know who won't be a high variance play is Stefon Diggs, okay, who's just going to vacuum up a lot of mostly short and intermediate targets and be kind of a PPR scam. And that's good. And we like that. So make sure, like, no matter what, you're starting Stefon Diggs going forward for a while. And then Tank is definitely good enough for a flex spot. As far as Wilson or Wicks, I would go with Wicks. I'm sorry. I can't stop myself. Wicks. Christian Kirk against Chicago or Jerome Ford. No, don't listen, Billy, my guy, Billy. I'm begging you to stop messing around with the Cleveland backfield. Your boy has made this mistake 4 weeks running now, maybe 5 weeks running, maybe 6. I've made the mistake of just constantly trying to project this unprojectable Cleveland backfield and say, they have a good matchup. It's going to be Jerome Ford. It's going to be Deontay Foreman, and then I turn on the TV and Pierre Strong is getting 4 touches in a row. Like, there's no rhyme or reason for how the Browns are using their running backs. Also, Deshaun Watson's deficiencies, which are legion. is just dragging down the whole offense. Okay. And you know this if you have Njoku, you know this if you have Amari Cooper, and you certainly know it if you have any of these Cleveland running backs. So I think you just have to abandon all hope there and just play Christian Kirk. Kirk has been way more productive with Evan Ingram out. Ingram will be back this week. That's bad news for him, but still, I think Kirk is the play. Deesh, trash boys, running backs. All right, excuse me. Need 2 and half PPR. I would go with Bigsby. Bigsby for sure. Now, I think Bigsby's definitely in play. After his big week last week, it's kind of funny. Doug Peterson was asked, "Did Bigsby take over as the lead back for Jacksonville?" And he kind of scoffed at it. No. And he basically did that thing where where Peterson was like, "Tank had one good game. Like I don't know what you guys are looking at, but he had one good game. He's not the top back." So I guess Tank Bigsby has some work to do if he's going to earn that job from ETN. Now, ETN has hinted that he's struggling through a fairly significant shoulder injury. I think that's something we need to pay close attention to. I think that probably means a pretty good workload for Bigsby, barring some sort of catastrophic game script for Jacksonville. ETN remains the pass-catching back. Bigsby is in no way involved in the passing game. So that's a little bit of a knock on it. He's game script sensitive, but what do you want? Like, you took this guy in like the 13th round of your redraft league and he's viable. Okay. Like I had to start him last week and I was thrilled. Forget about the production. Okay. That was cool. That was fun. I'll take that all the time, every week, but I was thrilled to have him to start. Okay. So yeah, he's game script sensitive, but you go with Bigsby and you go with Javonte. It's not pretty, but you have to. Singletary, Bigsby, and Slayton need to sit 1. You're not crazy, no. I probably would lean the same way there. Chris Sales back on the chat. Tucker Kraft locked in as a tight end 1. He's running a really good route rate in the Packers offense. The Packers have been pretty run heavy. Last week they were 9% under their expected pass rate on first downs, which is usually like fraud alert territory for the coach or for the play caller. I'm not saying that here because I think Matt LaFleur is an amazing play caller and just an incredible coach overall. Like I'm just constantly amazed by the adjustments this guy's able to make. I think they're trying to ease Jordan Love back into the lineup. I have serious doubts that Jordan Love is all the way back physically. So hopefully they get pass heavier as things move forward. But yeah, Tucker Kraft. So Luke Musgrave is still struggling with I think it's an ankle injury. They made a move. They made a transaction where they brought up another tight end this week, which probably I would think it means that Musgrave will be inactive in week 6. So yeah, Tucker Kraft is definitely a tight end 1. Okay, we're going to do some rapid fire, and then I'm going to talk about some nerdy running back metrics that might help you with your start sits. Hector says, need 2, Downs, Wicks, Cooper. Well, I guess Downs not going to play. Maybe we're going to refresh the Rotoworld homepage. Okay, well, so Brian Robinson is a game time decision. Oh, okay, Josh Downs is practicing on Friday. Pittman is back. He's practicing, so I guess he has a good chance to play. I thought Pittman was out like for a long time, but I guess not. So that changes things. Let's see. So I would go. I'm sorry, I'm distracted here. I would go with. Cooper. Like Amari Cooper is his receiving profile outside of the actual production is that of like a clear wide receiver 1. Okay. So as a process guy, I feel like it has to be Cooper. And if Richardson starts, then go with Wicks. If Flacco starts, then Downs. I hope that helps. I have a good problem, a champagne problem. So here's what you have to do with a champagne problem. You have to pop a cork of champagne, pop the cork on a champagne, and drink it from the bottle as you make your start-sit decision. Those are the rules. I didn't make them, but I will enforce them. Who do I start if Moss and Rashad White? Well, Rashad White's going to play unless I've missed something. So you got to play Chase Brown, and you got to play Montgomery. Montgomery is in a great spot. I wrote about both Detroit running backs in just an amazing spot this week against Dallas. Both Gibbs and Montgomery are top 10 options, like conservatively, I would say. So I think Montgomery and Brown are the plays there. Please tell me if I should move Metcalf. Why? You want a large deck one? Well, as many on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, know that my deck and my house is very large. It's a very big deck, and it was built by the previous owners in like 1987, and I guess in the late 80s, you really just wanted the biggest deck possible, and that's what I have on my house now. So that's what this person's referring to. Why would you move Metcalf? Like, okay, like he got robbed of a 50-yard touchdown last night against the Niners. He's seeing like an insane number of targets and air yards every week. Kenneth Walker is going to be the RB1 overall at the end of the season because of his pass game involvement. And Metcalf is going to be a top 3 receiver. And Geno is going to be a top 5 quarterback. Just give it time, folks. Good grief. I hope playing Pollard over Brees too cute. It's a little too cute. It's, on the cute meter, it's like a 6. Brees Hall, his spot is very good. I wrote about that in the Funnel Defense report. It's been more Joker for me, but I still need to start too. Guys, listen. If you've started the season poorly, okay, say you're, I don't know, say you're 2 and what would you be? 2 and 3, you're even 1 and 4. If you're 0-5, you're done. Just forget about it. But if you're 1 and 4, you have life, okay? You can string together some W's here, okay? So just keep grinding the waiver wire. Make sure you're looking ahead, for defense matchups and all this stuff. I still need to start 2 out of these. If Shakir plays, I would play him, and along with Kirk, I think. Yes, that's what I think. All right. Let's see. Lindorf and No Neighbors. Do you like Slayton or Wicks? I do like Slayton there. Hey, help. Dave says hi, help. Oh, well, I already answered that. All right. And let's see. Good afternoon to you too, King Snow. I have Josh Downs, Tolbert, Rasheed Rice. Can I drop one of them for Slayton or Pierce? No, I wouldn't. I think you're still playing those guys. Once again, asking for your guidance. Start 1, ETN, Hubbard, or Dobbins. I talked about ETN a couple minutes ago. If you would like to rewind the tape, Zoomers have no idea what I'm talking about. Hubbard or Dobbins. Chuba Hubbard. It's a bad spot for him. On paper, it doesn't look good, but his involvement is such that he's not game script sensitive. So I think that you have to start Hubbard here. He's way better than Dobbins. I can say that as far as a fantasy play. You're hilarious. I have to tell my wife. She doesn't necessarily think so for some reason. Fields or Murray. I actually like Justin Fields as a bounce back. The Vegas defense is bad. And Fields just the rushing upside is so good. It's way better than Kyler Murray. So I would lean Fields. Let's see. Ezekiel Elliott has a question. I have Marvin Harrison Jr., Zay Flowers, Wandell, and Tolbert. Which of these 2 am I comfortable starting? I have to say though that Marvin Harrison's receiving profile stinks. And I take a lot of pleasure in saying that because that's exactly what I said in the preseason. I was like, I'm just not into a guy who only sees like low percentage downfield boundary targets. Like, and that's it. And he's never moved around the formation, and he's never used in the short areas. And his coach just says, all right, buddy, you're big and you're fast. Get downfield, and hopefully you can catch one day. And when he does catch one, it's cool. And your box score looks great. And your fantasy lineup looks amazing. And then when he doesn't catch that one, it stinks. So his profile stinks out loud. Really bad stuff. It's not the player, you know. I'm not hating the player. I'm hating the game. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I feel awkward having said that. Which of these two are you comfortable starting? I am comfortable starting Wan'Dale Robinson and Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm sorry. I'm not starting Jalen Tolbert over. Oh, well, Zay Flowers. I'm sorry. For some reason I blanked out. Yeah. Flowers and Robinson. There you go. All right. Trone. Someone dropped Ty Chandler. Do I drop Sermon? If you don't need Sermon, then yeah, because Aaron Jones has that injury. Oh, we have a frustrated Mahomes drafter. Yeah. No, look, Brian. Listen, I'm glad you're in the chat. If you would have been in the chat 2 or 3 weeks ago, you would have heard me say, you would have heard me give you all the blessing that it's over for Mahomes as a fantasy prospect for now in his career. Okay. Like it's probably going to get better at some point, but you're talking about a guy who has like 5 air yards per attempt right now. Okay. It's like when you say, oh, he's turning into Alex Smith, it's actually much worse than that. Okay. So, you don't feel compelled. Look, you wasted a draft pick on him, but he's been so bad for fantasy. Now, in real life, he's been very good. Okay, I don't want Chiefs fans being like 5-0, 5-0, most fraudulent 5-0 ever in history. By the way, it should be like 2-3 at best. But anyway, I guess that's what you just get when you're a winner. When you're a winner, you win, even when it's completely and totally fraudulent in every conceivable way. You're done with Mahomes. You need to switch. Yeah. Geno, Baker, anyone. Joe Flacco. It doesn't. Daniel Dimes. Anyone. Don't tell Pat Doherty I said that. Start Burrow, Joe Burrow, or Cousins. So let's see. I would start Burrow. I'd start Burrow. I know it's weird. Like the guy who threw for 530 yards last week or whatever. Like, yeah, bench him. But that's actually what I'm telling you. Would you trade Hurts away for some help at running back? It depends. Yeah, I mean maybe, but it would. I'd have to know who you're trading for. So maybe if you can help me out with that, Nick. Full PPR rest of season drop 1. Oh, really? Oh, no. Oh, Alicia, I don't know what to say. Oh, well, maybe this is a shallow league? I mean, because like Tank Dell's very interesting now with Nico Collins out. I guess Tracy, but I really would not want to drop him. It can't be Shaheed, it can't be Dell, and honestly, it cannot be Tank Bigsby. So I guess that leaves Tracy. That's a tough one, man. Lanny is back in the chat. Yeah, Fields is the play. Let me answer a couple more, and then I'll get to the nerdy metrics. Half PPR, my sincere. You are a centrist first and foremost. All right. Good and bad things are exactly the same, which is why you play half PPR. I forgive you, my son, or my daughter. I don't know. Actually, Olave. I think Olave will be the option for. Now, who's the new Saints quarterback? Ah, gosh, I can't remember now. Let's see. we are looking at Spencer Rattler, who's bad. But nevertheless, we persist. I would go with Olave. Half PPR, Hopkins, Wicks, Keon Coleman. I would go with Wicks, and I would go. Well, Moss is probably not going to play, so Rico. And then I go with Kraft. I'd go with Kraft over Laporta. Jameson Williams' emergence in the Detroit offense means that the targets had to come from somewhere. It looks like the targets are coming from Laporta. I'm not sure how or when he gets that back. Should I trade Garrett Wilson and McLaurin for Amon-Ra? I don't know the rest of your team, but I would say in a vacuum, yes. I have the Vikings. So you have Chandler and Jones. Blah, blah, blah. Can I reasonably not drop Vikings defense and play no defense? No. Don't do that. You have a full roster. Don't do that stuff. Do what you need to do, but fill out your roster. Have I been struck by a smooth criminal? I have not. But thank you for asking. Soy sauce is in the chat. We love our soy sauce, folks. We're bringing soy sauce back. I just spit all over the place. Trade Bijan, Waddle, for Aaron Jones. Trade. Oh, this is so much to process. Gosh. Yeah, okay, sure. I would do that, I think. There's so many questions, guys. I am not going to be able to. Yeah, you got to start the Denver defense if you have them or if they're out there. Not in my league, but still, you got to start them. I've been able to watch the stream since Tyler showed off his thick hair. Right, exactly. It's egregious. It's messed up. You're hurting guys' feelings, Tyler, and yet you don't care. Any worry about AJ Brown? No worry. You start him. Would you trade Jaden Daniels and Monty Smith in exchange for AJ Brown? I have Jalen. I would not do that. Not even close. Don't mess around. Don't mess around, man. You have a good thing in Jaden Daniels, right? You draft him as like the QB 12 off the board, and he's been blowing the roof off for you, right? Even he ring super cold last week and he scored 21 points. Not in my league. In my league, he scored 12. Well, your league's terrible then, but you fell into something. Don't be like, well, I found something here. I got a great value, and now I'm going to get rid of it. Stay put. Started Dobbins, Stevenson, or Koopy. I would go Koopy myself. All right. Olave or Tank Dell? I would actually go with Tank Dell. How cute is too cute? Chase Brown or Bucky Irving over Danny Montgomery if Moss and White are out? Yeah, Montgomery is in your lineup. I mean, I would rank Montgomery over both of those guys, even if Moss and or White are sidelined. All right, folks, we're going to get to the nerdy running back metrics. I hope that this helps you. I think folks like this. I think. This is what we like to call in the industry yards before contact per attempt that defenses are allowing through week 5. This gives us an idea of, and this metric correlates pretty closely with long runs and rushing production. So we're going to start at the top here. Number 1, still the Bills giving up 2.6 yards before contact per attempt. I mean, it should just be a spot where the Jets run a lot. I think with their new super high T head coach, that they are going to try to run the ball a lot. Breece Hall and Braylon Allen become interesting in this matchup. We have the Eagles at number 2 in yards before contact per attempt, and I am kind of stalling here because I forget who the Eagles play. The Eagles play the Browns. So so actually that doesn't matter. I told you don't mess around with the Browns backfield. Just don't. The Commanders, so Derrick Henry is in a great spot. Go down a little bit. So the Bears actually go the 4th most yards before contact per attempt. I mentioned this last week, And I said that, I believe I said Chuba Hubbard was in a quietly good spot. The mainstream press is completely silent on Chuba Hubbard. You tune into this underground podcast supported and broadcast by NBC Sports, and I told you that the Bears are quietly not a great rush defense. Chuba Hubbard had a nice day against all odds. That's why I think Tank Bigsby is still a pretty good start, even though the matchup doesn't seem great. Number 5 in rush and yards before contact per rush attempt are the Saints. So, that would be good for Bucky Irving, would be good for Rachaad White. 6 Cowboys, obviously, you're starting the Detroit running backs no matter what. Go down a little bit. The Cardinals are number 8. Josh Jacobs, another good spot as he was last week. He's not great, but he's going to get volume. So we like our Josh Jacobs. And then the last team I wanted to mention was the Colts. The Colts at number 12, 1.8 yards before contact per attempt. So Tony Pollard is a good play. And I know it's going to be hard to figure out how to play Tony Pollard, but I believe in your potential to do just that. All right, let's get to your questions. We have 8 minutes left, folks. Trade my RB2, Brian Robinson, for Etienne and Waddle. Only if you're needy at receiver. That's what I would say. Okay. Let's see. Need one running back and a flex. So you go with Bigsby and you go with you go with Wicks. Just trust the process, brother. Moss is playing. Singletary might. Moss is playing. This is breaking news. Oh, you're right. We just got it up on Rotoworld. All right. Well, that was fun while it lasted. So just be careful with Chase Brown now that Moss is playing. Thank you, EP, for putting that out there. Who would be your 2 picks of Sermon, Gibson? I guess it would be I'd have to just go with Gibson and Sermon at this point. Full PPR, you still go with Najee. The Raiders' run defense is bad. If that matters with Najee, I don't know, but I think it's probably Najee Harris. Slayton or Wan'Dale. In PPR, I know this is a cop out, but honestly, I have trouble saying no to Wan'Dale Robinson in a PPR. He was designed in a lab to be a PPR scam, right? So I don't think you can sit him in PPR formats, but standard and half PPR, I kind of lean Slayton. Certainly in standard. Ashley is in the chat. The Rams having a historically bad linebacker group might have had something to do with it. I'm not sure what. Maybe Josh Jacobs being good. I don't know. Full PPR, Wan'Dale Wan'Dale this week and for the rest of the season. Keenan Allen is now in year 2 of a heel injury. Okay, so he's had a heel injury for two years now. He's old. Can't shake it. He looks very slow. So the film watchers tell me. I've never watched the game. And you all are spamming the chat with your with your questions. Let's see. Am I crazy? This is a too cute question. Am I crazy for starting Cousins over Mahomes? You're not. That's not too cute. That's not cute enough. I'm begging you to get cuter. Ask me something for real. Ask me Daniel Jones, Andy Dalton, or Mahomes. Because I'm telling you, Mahomes ain't it. Mid-Homes. This is what they're calling him. I'm not calling him that. This is what they're calling. They're saying mid-Homes. Folks, wake up. This is not the Mahomes of 2018. This is a much more boring guy. Okay? He wants to win. And that stinks for fantasy. All right. I traded Hubbard and received Amari Cooper. Thoughts? My thought is that was a good move because Hubbard is about to fall into a timeshare with Jonathan Brooks, who's going to come off of IR or NFI or whatever list he's on. And Amari Cooper, like I said, has a really good receiving profile. The process. All right, a few more minutes here. Logan, start one. Shakir, if he plays. Full PPR, who should I drop to pick up Rico Dowdle? Actually, you know what? I'm going to go back. I'm sorry. Logan, listen. I would go with Pickens, actually. I would go with Pickens there. Hopefully he wants to play this week. We'll see. Who should I drop to pick up Rico Dowdle? I have Dobbins, Taylor, Jacobs. That's a lot, man. I'm trying to process this. If I had to drop one, I would drop Rome. Adunze doesn't look like you're going to be in a position to really play him. I went in my redraft weekends pumping Mahomes to as many as would listen. Well, that was pretty messed up of you, buddy. Sermon or Ty Johnson? Well, I think it would be Sermon unless James Cook, unless I've missed the news. The news, no, I'm not seeing any news on James Cook, so I think it would have to be Sermon. Kicker question. Do you think kicking scoring should be nerfed given 50-yard field goals seem to be way more common? 20 kicker points in a week seems too much. No. I think people should just pay more attention to the kicker spot. I mean, like in 2020, we had a huge spike in passing touchdowns, right? But I don't remember anybody being like, we have to do something about these passing touchdowns. It's too much. This quarterback scored 49 points this week. That is too many. That's too many points. I didn't hear that. I did hear that. I do hear that about kickers, though. No, I think that's fine. All right, let's see. Full PPR. Who should I drop to pick up Dowdle? Come on, man. I just answered that. Does the audio skip the entire show? Are people having trouble with my audio? That's not good. Let's see. Will Harper is in the chat. Full PPR. Who do I start in flex? I would start. So if Flacco plays, it's Downs, and if not, then you're starting Tolbert. I wrote about him in the Funnel Defense report. I think he has a chance to see double-digit targets again, which he did last week against Pittsburgh. Hurts for Kenneth Walker. I mean, like I said, Walker's pass game involvement gives him like a very, very clear and wide path to wide receiver or running back one overall. I would tend to say yes. I would. All right, I'm gonna get to a few more here, and then I have to go. Sorry. Do I trust Josh Allen this week or go with Daniel Jones? No. Don't get nuts. That's too cute. What do we say, folks? We don't get too cute on this stream. We get a little cute. Certainly, we get the right amount of cute. We don't get too cute. This exceeds the level of cuteness with which I am comfortable. You start Josh Allen. Tajay Spears or Jeremy McNichols. If B-Rock, I actually would go with McNichols. He has an interesting role in this offense. I guess probably like the goal line guy. So would I start Fields over Hurts? I would not. Fields or Richardson? I would start Fields. I'm not doing the Richardson thing. Does Caleb keep it going rest of season? Yeah, I mean, yeah, Caleb is a better rest of season play than Mahomes. That's very correct. That's right. Murray or Cousins? I would go with Cousins. Standard. All right, two more, and then I got to go. Let's see. Green Bay defense or Saints defense. I guess I go Green Bay. Don't forget about the Bucs defense playing Spencer Rattler. I know it's in New Orleans, whatever, but the Bucs defense should be pretty good. let's see, Gibson, McNichols, or Ty Johnson. It would have to be Gibson, especially Stevenson doesn't look like he's going to play. All right, folks. That's our last one. Martin's in the chat. Please pick two. Tucker and Pierce. No, if Watson plays, I guess it's Tucker and Watson. All right, folks. That'll do it for the Week 6 chat. Thank you for joining me, Denny Carter. You can find me on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, at CDCarter13. You can find all my work on Rotoworld, including the Funnel Defense Report. Good luck to you and only you in Week 6.